Today I'm going to be making almond milk. It's really very simple to do. You need almonds, water, vanilla, and dates. I use peeled almonds, and I'll talk more about that in the blog on my website if you want information on that. So this is a half a cup of almonds. They were soaked for probably, you should soak them for about 8 hours. They can be up to 12 hours. You just use room temperature water. I put them in a mason jar, and I put probably 3 times the amount of water in the jar with the almonds. I also sprinkle a little salt in there, and that's it. Then I rinse them off. Right there. And I use 1.5 dates actually for this recipe. I do normally make triple the amount that I'm making right now. So I've cut my recipe, down to 1/3. So I use 1.5 dates. They're sticky, stuck to my finger. And 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And then this is about maybe 2.5 cups of water. Just want to see. Yeah, probably put a little bit more in there. And if you're making raw almond milk, like I am, I use raw unpasteurized almonds. You want to use cold water. So I measure out my water ahead of time. I put it in a mason jar, put it in the refrigerator. And the reason why you do that is the blades of the Vitamix run very quickly, and it has the potential to heat up whatever you're blending to the point where it wouldn't be considered raw anymore. But if you use cold water from the fridge, it keeps it cool. And I just always check it as it's blending. I put my hand on the container. You can just feel if it's getting warm, and you know, okay, it's time to stop it. And it can get a little bit warm, but you don't want it to get hot. So I'm just going to turn the blender on, put it to 10, flip it to high, and let it run between 1 and 2 minutes. When I make my full batch in the larger Vitamix container, I let it run for 2 full minutes, and yeah, I probably don't need to do that for this smaller amount. And the nice thing about this recipe that I've come up with a long time ago, after much trial and error, it's probably been 4 or 5 years since I've been making almond milk. You don't have to strain it. I did not like, in the beginning when I was making my almond milk, trying various recipes, and you always have to push it through, either use cheesecloth and like squeeze the liquid out, and then you're left with the pulp. or you can put it into like a fine mesh strainer and kind of mash it so that the liquid falls into a bowl. And I didn't like it because you would end up with all of this pulp that, I hated to throw it out. Some people suggest you can use it use it in your cookie recipes, use it for various things, which I didn't want to always be forced to find something to do with the pulp, and I hated wasting it, and I like to get the fiber from the whole almond instead of just the milk, because, that's good for you too. So by using enough water with the almonds, you can get it so that you do not have to strain it, and it's just liquid. And the Vitamix, because the Vitamix is so powerful and it really grinds it up very, very thoroughly, you do not have to mix it. There might be a little bit of sediment. You see what's coming out, couple of little pieces of dates at the bottom here dripping out of the blender. For the most part, it's very smooth and creamy, and it's really good. We use it in smoothies for the most part, or drinking it straight. Use it in my pancakes. Any way you would use any other type of milk.